The Indian Institutes of Technology, or the IITs, are a group of prestigious, autonomous public engineering institutes located across India. Established with the vision of propelling India towards technological independence and fostering a new generation of skilled professionals, their history is deeply intertwined with the nation's post-independence development journey. Contrary to common assumption, the concept for the IITs was developed in the first part of the 1940s, shortly after World War II ended, rather than in an independent India. It was quite challenging to recruit European engineers to come to India for the complex technical tasks that were required after the war, because the majority of them were occupied with reconstructing Europe's ravaged nations. However, a large number of engineers from Europe had begun to immigrate to the USA. All ministries of the British Indian government were directed to make plans for the post-war growth of the most valuable colony in the British Empire. A similar regulation was issued by the Ministry of Education. The Sargent Plan, a thorough assessment on the state and prospects of education in India, was created by Sir John Sargent, who served as education advisor at the time. In response, a powerful committee headed by Sir Sargent was established by the Central Advisory Board of Education, CABE, in 1943 to draft a technical education strategy. Establishing appropriate technical education institutes under the general direction of the All India Council of Technical Education, AICTE, was one of the committee's suggestions. In 1944, the CABE approved the Sargent Plan's suggestions and sent them to the Viceroy's Executive Council. After the Sargent Plan suggestions were approved by the Executive Council, AICTE was formally established on 30th November 1945. Nobel laureate A.V. Hill was dispatched by the Royal Society to India, where he stayed for roughly 4.5 months between November 1943 and April 1944. In August 1944, Dr. Hill turned in his report, Scientific Research in India, following visits to several universities and meetings with academics and scientists. One of his most significant recommendations, among others, was to establish a few colleges of technology on a really great scale like the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Additionally, Dr. Hill highlighted the need to construct an all-India medical center. Prominent Indian educators became increasingly conscious during this time that the nation needed highly skilled technical labor to advance its industry. Sir Ardeshir Dalal was chief among these dreamers. After returning from a September 1944 visit to MIT, he pushed the government to act in this regard. All of these efforts culminated in the government's creation of a 23-member committee in March 1945, which was chaired by renowned politician and industrialist Nalini Ranjan Sarkar, a former Viceroy's Executive Council member. When submitting the report to the Viceroy's Executive Council, Nalini Ranjan Sarkar wrote, "A rapid expansion of the facilities of higher technical education is a pressing necessity given the certainty of an appreciable increase in the demand for higher specialists in industry. Apart from everything else, it is clear that the demands of reconstruction in Europe and other places, as well as the massive industrial and government projects planned in Europe and America to provide full employment, will make it difficult, if not impossible, to find the right kind of engineers, architects, technologists, planners, etc. from overseas to complete India's post-war projects. Therefore, it is important to move quickly to start a higher technical education program in India." It is helpful to remember the Sarkar Committee's initial goal when it suggested creating the higher institutes of technology. The report highlighted that the graduation standard should not be lower than that of any first-class institution abroad, teaching degrees such as Bachelor of Science of Massachusetts Institute of Technology or Bachelor of Science and Technology of Manchester. A percentage of the seats should be set aside for the educationally disadvantaged strata, but admission should be purely on merit and no provincial quotas be allotted. The Indian Institute of Technology Kharagpur began as a federal government institution with 224 students and 42 teachers when it was formally opened on 18 August 1951 by then Education Minister Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. After around 5 years of planning, the IIT system as it exists today was born, marking the beginning of a novel system. The country's early leaders were wise enough and visionary enough to recognize early on that IIT Kharagpur needed to operate independently and not be controlled by the government in order to attain true academic success. As a result, the Indian government passed the landmark Indian Institute of Technology Kharagpur Act 1956. IIT Kharagpur became an independent institution of national importance that operated directly under the Parliament, with the President of India serving as the visitor, when it went into force on 1 April 1957. As a result, the institute was released from the Education Ministry's authority and granted complete autonomy in its operations under the Independent Board of Governors, which was answerable to the Parliament and the visitor. The single most crucial element in the IIT's attainment of their exceptional reputation and academic brilliance has been the autonomy in all academic, administrative, and financial affairs granted to the institute by Parliament. It was resolved at IIT Kharagpur's first meeting following its independence to assign 6 Russian experts who were then employed by the institute to work on establishing the second IIT in Bombay, with the institute covering all associated costs. IIT Madras and IIT Kanpur were founded in 1959 and 1960, respectively, after IIT Bombay in 1958. The Indian Institute of Technology Kharagpur Act was abolished by the Parliament, and the Institutes of Technology Act 1961 was passed, designating all 4 IITs as institutions of national importance. IIT Bombay received academic and other assistance from the then Soviet Union, whereas IIT Madras and IIT Kanpur received assistance and help from the Federal Republic of Germany and the United States of America, respectively. Since then, the IITs have nurtured many future CEOs, including, in addition to Sundar Pichai and Narayan Murthy, Arvind Krishna, CEO of IBM, Nikesh Arora, Chairman and CEO of cybersecurity firm Palo Alto Networks, Parag Agrawal, former CEO of online social media platform Twitter, and Raj Subramaniam, President and CEO of global transportation and logistics giant FedEx. The IITs are known for fostering an environment where innovation and startup ideas are nurtured. Founders of successful Indian startups, such as Indian e-commerce platform Flipkart, Sachin and Binny Bansal, restaurant aggregator and food delivery company Zomato, Deepinder Goyal and Pankaj Chadda, online insurance aggregator Policy Bazaar, co-founder Yashish Dahiya, brokerage-free property search app NoBroker, Amit Kumar Agrawal, Akhil Gupta, and Saurabh Garg, and home services platform Urban Company, co-founders Abhiraj Singh Bhal and Varun Khetan, have all graduated from an IIT. As India continues its journey towards becoming a global leader, the IITs will undoubtedly play an even greater role in this endeavor.